If you've ever wondered what the heck you actually said at the end of that party,
or wanted a do-over button for those cringe-worthy encounters,
then you've experienced what we call the joy of awkwardness.
I'm Mindy.
And I'm Bree.
And we're here to celebrate the awkward.
Embrace the awkward.
And remind you of one important thing.
You may be awkward,
but you're definitely not alone.
Well, that was awkward. Hi, Mendy.
Hi, Bree.
Are you ready to get into some awkward stories from the week?
I am. You tell me yours first.
Okay. So my awkward story is, it's a subtle awkward story, but I think it's one that most of us can relate to, which is that I had an old friend from college who came to town this week and he wanted to meet up. And the awkwardness wasn't so much in the meeting, like we were fine, but it's in that sort of anticipation of the meeting. Like, who does this person think I am? And who is this person?
When was the last time you saw them?
Last
Had you seen them since college?
I don't want to say when it was because it might give away who the person was. I've seen him like once since then. It was over a decade ago. Still, right?
Yeah.
And that was at a public event type of thing. This was like, we're getting together for coffee, which I don't know if we even did in college. Anyway, I wasn't sure how much of a jerk I was to him. If I was like a tease or a flirt, or if I was just a friend. Like, I wasn't sure who I was.
It wasn't that, like, I don't make six figures, and like, I would be so proud to be you, Bree. Okay, you just don't know if you were a dick. Okay.
I just don't know if I was a dick. No, I'm so proud. We have this podcast. Are you kidding me?
You didn't know if it was going to be one of those, like, let's get together for coffee, and he's going to be like, my therapist said that I finally needed to tell you how much trauma you did to me.
It's just more, I think, that disconnect between the past self and the present self and not really knowing who I was then and not remembering, like just not remembering how much of a jerk or not jerk I may have been. There was one moment when a mutual friend came up and I said something about how I like to tease him a lot. And I meant the teasing like he was kind of fun to kind of like pick on. Mm-hmm. But the way that he reacted, I guess this was an awkward moment. The way that he reacted made it clear that I was a bit of a tease in college. So I'm so sorry to all the boys I teased in college.
Great heartbreaker.
I don't know that I was a heartbreaker, but I was a something. How about you, Mendy? Do you have an awkward moment from the week?
Oh, yes. Okay, so I was in the grocery store, and you know how when you go to get your oat milk from the refrigerators that are all lined up?
Yeah.
And only one person can get their item at a time because of those skinny doors. So a woman was in front of me. I'm assuming she was new to alternative milks because she was taking a super long time. I didn't really mind. So I just hung back, waited for her, and this guy comes around the corner with his grocery cart and his list. Walking next to him is this Oompa Loompa-sized 4-year-old-ish little girl in a cute little sundress, and she is completely in her own world, and she's singing, and she's dancing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love her so much. And they were going like down that long back aisle, so I was just watching and appreciating. And then the lady in front of me noticed that she was holding me up, and she looked over her shoulder and she says, I'm so sorry. And I was like, oh no, it's not that big a deal. I was just staring at that little girl. Which sounds so pervy.
That is a little pervy.
Well, there's no way to say it. Like, I was watching that little girl dance. I was wishing I was that little girl.
No matter what, it's awkward.
But I won't.
Yeah, you were. And there's something just so beautiful about little children just being in their bodies, doing their little kid thing in a place where you're being a grown-up.
Yep. No self-consciousness. Right? No self-consciousness.
Mm-hmm. So did you join her later for a little dance party?
No, I didn't. I got my oat milk and I left.
I'm so glad that you got to see that little girl. It's worth that awkward moment. You know what I mean? Some awkward moments are just worth it.
Yeah, I guess I just shouldn't have told that lady that, but it just fell out of my mouth.
Wegmans is really your place for these awkward moments, huh?
It really is. Although, I had an awkward moment that became this beautiful thing. Do you know that song? Oh my gosh, can I sing a song if I want to tell you what song it is?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Higher Love by Steve Winwood?
Yeah.
That's my jam. That came on one time I was in the bathroom, and I loved that song so much, so I started singing lyrics. And woman next to me started singing along too, and we started a little sing-along in the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
That is the most Mendy story that there is.
It was pretty wonderful.
I love that. So, do we have a listener story for this week,
Oh
Mendy?
boy, we do. We have a heck of a story this week. But Bree, first, could you tell our listeners, are you an only child or are you from a big family?
I was an only child until I was 13. So, psychologically, I'm very much an only child. But now I have 6 brothers and sisters, 2 stepsisters, and an ex-stepbrother and ex-stepsister. I got all the loneliness of only childliness and all the chaos of a big family. I got both.
Cool. I always wish I had siblings. I was an only child. But I don't have to share anything with
know.
anyone. Ever.
That's a nice thing. I don't like to share anything with anyone. Fortunately, I was gone. I mean, I was away at school by the time I had siblings, really.
Right.
So once I left when I was 14, I really never went back. So sorry, family.
You went to college
But-
so early.
Go to college when I was 14.
Doogie Howser.
That's right. Just call me Doogie. I'm not going to expand on that now. So that was my way of saying I am both an only child and come from a big family. How does this tie into the story?
Well, our listener story is from Charlotte, who does come from a big family. Charlotte, and we'll call her Charlie because that's fun. She's the 5th in her family. She's the youngest of all of them. And there's only about 6 years between her oldest sibling and herself. So her parents...
Whoa!
Yeah, her parents had a real good run somewhere in there, right?
Yeah.
Sexually.
They were having fun. I hope they were having fun.
So
Yeah.
she's not only the youngest in her nuclear family, she's the youngest in the whole brood. She has 44 first cousins. And she says...
Ooh, that's an angel number.
Yes, she says that she's from a real good Irish Catholic family. So those 4 older Sid, yep, they are 2 sets of Irish twins. Just in case people don't know and you look Irish, can you please tell us what an Irish twin is?
Well, as a bottled Irish, they are siblings who are born less than 11 months apart, typically. That's what I know Irish twins to be. Is that what you know Irish twins to be?
Well, I'm not Irish, though, but thank you for educating me. So Charlie is the youngest in her generation of all the 40-some cousins, and even though she eventually outgrows a lot of them, they continue to refer to her as Lil Charlie to this day. Her archetype was chosen for her, and she is the mischievous imp.
I love her. I bet she would go dancing down the grocery store
Oh
aisles.
my gosh, absolutely. Well, wait till you hear. She's this impish little girl child drowning in this huge family, and she starts from day one trying to get anybody's attention. And it's also the sweet, sweet swinging 70s. There was still that,
Woo!
yes, there's still that line or boundary between the kids and the adults, right? So, like, the adults still had grown-up time, and their social lives did not center around their kids. And the kids were not to intrude upon the grown-up time. So there was a lot of the kids running around, handling their own business. And even though her family was loving, of course, she still learned some self-reliance and self-soothing skills as she was running with a pack of older sibs and cousins. She says that they were the OG latchkey kids. And Bree, OG stands for original gangster, not OG, just so you know.
Thank you, Mendy. You know what I hate, though?
What?
I really hate when people say the original OG.
Oh,
It's redundant.
Yes, it is.
People do it all the time.
Oh.
That's awkward, not in a good way.
Not in a good way. Oh. So when Charlie was very little, they went to see The Sound of Music in the movie theater. And she's in the middle of this packed audience, and the Nazi scene comes on when the Nazis come to the house. Remember that? And, like, take all the kids away?
Oh, God, that's such a scary scene. I hated that scene.
Yes.
Ugh.
And she is completely freaked out. So she stands up on her seat and starts singing loudly that song from earlier in the movie. You know the song.
You cannot sing that song, Mendy.
But
you know that you
I think
cannot
it's
sing that
important
song.
for people. Well, can I sing it what if I change the words?
No, you can't do the melody.
All right. I'm not going to do it, but people need to know what this song is. I'm going to change the words and not do the melody.
You're not going to sing the notes?
Yeah, so it's the song that goes, thou a pig, a lady pig, sha, a gleam of gilded yellow door.
Okay, we got
Do you know the song?
We got it. Yes.
So she's
Yes, I
singing
know this.
that song from earlier in the movie, full voice, standing up on her seat in the middle of the movie theater to protect her wee little self from the bad guys with the sound of music. Bree, if you were at the Alamo Drafthouse Theater with this kid, would you raise a card on her?
I would not raise a card on her because I would be relieved that this kid interrupted the sound of music. Because I'm going to tell you something, Mendy. I have what I is probably an unpopular opinion. I hate the sound of music.
I don't see how. I hate musicals. That's probably not a popular opinion, but I love the sound of music. And I've actually heard this before, that if you are a musical person, you don't like the sound of music because you're jealous. And if you don't like musicals, you love the sound of music because you recognize genius.
I don't love musicals unless they are problem musicals. I like really difficult musicals to direct. I don't like to see any musicals. I like to direct problem musicals, and I hate the sound of music.
Why do you hate it? Do you not think the songs are catchy?
I like the first third of the movie. I like the little kids. I think they're cute, but even they're kind of obnoxious, right? People, don't come at me for hating the sound of music. I just don't like it. My kid was even in it. And I liked her. Yeah, so I have seen it many, many, many times. I don't. It rubs me the wrong way.
Oh, Bree.
I hate it.
You know, there's a song from the first part of the movie, the part of the movie that you like, and it reminds me of you. It goes something like, in what way do you resolve an enigma? Like, Bree, she's a floggerty gibbet, a wink and a whip, a flake. Do you know the song I'm talking about?
I do. Thank you so much.
They sing it in the
feel
nunnery.
seen and loved.
They sing it in the nunnery.
Yeah,
They
that's fitting because when I left home at 14, I went to a nunnery. So that totally fits, right? That explains the teasing that happened in college. Yes. It all comes together. All right. So anyway, she stands up on her seat.
Yes, blasts out the song to self-soothe. And neither one of us would raise a card on her, that sweet little thing.
No.
But this pattern continues for Charlotte. She'd always find herself in some kind of trouble, but she always meant to do the right thing. She always meant well, and she was just reacting the only way that she knew, using the tools that she had in order to survive the path. She would always get in trouble in school, too, stumbling into the great mischief. One day, she and her bestie Katie were in the lunchroom drinking their milk from the teeny-weeny little straws. Do you remember those, Bree? Well, they innocently discover what many of us also did in the 3rd grade, that these straws are the perfect projectile barrel for spitball. Charlie gets wrapped up in the scientific marvel that she has discovered, and she and Katie, of course, get to experimenting.
As they do.
Yes, women in STEM.
Yeah, Charlotte.
And as they are employing the scientific method in order to ascertain and test the predicted trajectory of a projectile from maximum distance, they inevitably seriously piss off some accidental research volunteers who get smacked in their little 8-year-old foreheads with saliva missiles and end up having to clean the cafeteria for a whole week with the janitor, Mr. Holloway.
I hate it when women are not supportive of their scientific efforts. That's just really not cool. So did she get in trouble at home? Or what happened?
All right, well, kinda. Her mom would pull that, oh, you wait till your father gets home thing, and she'd go to her dad's office when he got home, and he'd say really loudly so the rest of the brood could hear, oh, you're in big trouble, young lady. And then he'd close the door and be like, you're so bad. Tell me more. And just laugh his ass off.
That's a good dad.
That's a good
dad.
But her sister actually insisted that she had ODD, oppositional defiant disorder. But she says, and I quote, I think I'm just a typical Capricorn. She says, because Capricorns are kind of assholes.
What sign are you, Mendy?
I'm Aries, girl.
Oh, yeah, you are. I'm a Leo, but my moon is in Capricorn, so I'm just an asshole at night.
Aware asshole. And before all the Capricorns get mad at us, we'll temper that a little bit. They are society's necessary, merry, quite contraries, the ones who question and push back, who will say, yeah, I'm an a-hole, but you needed to hear that. All right. Thank you, Capricorns.
We love you, Capricorns.
We love you, Capricorns. Her little world is just full of hijinks and well-meaning fun going awry. At one point, one of her sisters says, "Hey, Charlie, let's turn the bedroom psychedelic." This is the 70s, and they're just kids. So what do? Charlie melts crayons all over every surface of her room. Mom says, "Wait for Dad." Dad's like, "Groovy, baby." She gets into high school. Same pattern. Charlie's just looking for a good time. She steals a dead frog from the biology lab and props it up in the hallway with a joint in its mouth. She and her sister, they're at a bar. Later in high school, sister goes to the bathroom, doesn't come back for a long time.
They didn't go 2 by 2?
They did not go 2 by 2. They did not abide by the lady code of going to the bathroom 2 by 2. You got to go 2 by 2. And this is what happens when you don't go 2 by 2. She's sitting on the bar like, oh God, I hope she's okay. So she goes to check on her. She goes in, sees her sister's little cute feetses under the door. She's Charlotte, so she's like, I'll kick the door and scare the crap out of her. But the door latch was broken, and her sister was doing that, like, air hover over the seat. I call it the aim and pray.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have to actually touch the surface. So she was leaned forward, and when Charlie kicks the door, hits her sister in the head, knocks her out.
Knocks her out?
The door comes back, hits her sister in the head, knocks her out.
What? Really?
I was just making sure you were listening. She bonks her sister really hard. Charlie continues her hijinks all through college.
She's growing up.
Yeah, but she's not changing. Charlie still to this day has a college friend out there who she thinks still believes she can communicate with cows. Because Charlie told her that if you moo when you drive by a cow field, the cows will look up and nod at you. Because cows do that anyway. This continues as she grows up. She gets a career, she gets a marriage, she gets some kids, and she never ever learns her lesson along the way. Until one day, the day of our awkward story,
Oh, good, we're there.
Yes, she's in her 50s, a grown-ass woman. She and her bestie, Laura, are in the gym locker room changing after a class. She notices Laura's shiny hiney in the air as she bends over to grab her shoes. Bree, what would you do?
Probably look in the other direction.
But you're not Charlie, so Charlie smacks that ass. Laura, you see, is also a merry prankster, and she regularly purple durples Charlotte every chance she gets.
Hey, Mendy, what's a purple durple?
I didn't know either. I had to ask Charlie. It's a titty twister.
Ow.
I know. So, Laura shows it coming. Yeah, she smacks that ass hard. So hard that Laura stumbles forward, hits her head on the locker, and falls to the floor. Charlie bursts out laughing, but Laura's whole body starts shaking. After she just hit her head, right? She looks to be...
Oh, no.
Yes, she's convulsing. And Charlotte is like, oh, snap, I killed Laura. But then she hears a familiar little voice behind her. Charlie, that's not me.
No!
It wasn't Laura's ass. She had smacked some random stranger's behind. And this stranger was in the middle of a bona fide spinal event. Bree, what do you do?
I would go to her aid. I would try to figure out what was going on. I would go to help the person I just smacked. Oh my God, that's horrible.
It is so scary. So she bends down next to the lady to do, like you would do CPR, stabilize her neck, whatever's needed, when she notices that the woman is convulsing because she is laughing so hard.
Oh, thank God.
Yes, she is in the middle of a buck-naked giggle fit.
What happened to the real Laura?
Oh, she left. She couldn't stop laughing, so she ran away. Before she even realized that this wasn't as bad as it seemed, she was out.
She didn't want to be implicated in the crime.
No, she did not want to get busted. No accomplice here. So Charlie now starts laughing really, really hard. She herself is also convulsing, and she's still trying to repair the situation, to apologize, and she keeps fumbling, trying to hand this lady her towel because she's still buck naked. The woman can't stop laughing, so whenever Charlie tries to get the towel on her, she just, assaults her accidentally some more. They're bumping boobies. There's all these accidental nuzzles. It just keeps getting worse. Charlotte is stuck in an infinite loop of awkward apologies and unintended caresses. They could not disentangle themselves.
Well, that was awkward. So, did Charlotte learn her lesson? Did that teach?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
She says it's totally worth it. Let me tell you why. Because that woman, that awesome woman with that great sense of humor and that really hard head, she has become Charlie's stranger gym friend. You know those people you connect with at the gym, but we probably don't know each other's names. You just know you would be friends if anyone had time for more friends.
Absolutely. The stranger best friend. Yeah.
Yes. So for the past 10 years, Charlie and Laura's tushy stunt double lady give each other a little knowing nod and giggle whenever they see each other. So Charlie is still out there, completely emboldened by her triumphant shenanigans. So watch your ass. Okay, I think there's some obvious lessons in this, but I'm still going to ask you, what would you have done differently?
Well, first of all, Mindy, I would not have slapped her ass. I would not have done it. But I kind of wish I had. Like, this is an awkward moment that I think I would like to actually experience myself. Really, I'm 50 years old. I need to ignite my inner prankster so that I can meet a gym friend. That actually sounds kind of good. Maybe I'll just start going around slapping booties in the gym.
Bree, I'm gonna set that up for you. I'm just gonna be bending over bunches in the locker room so you can live your dream.
Oh, but you know, old habits die hard, and you know I'm gonna be like, "Oop, don't look."
Don't look, just smack. Nothing could go wrong there. But look how Charlie's mischief is spreading, even unto you, Bree. She's like a mischief magnet held up to your little moral compass there, huh? So what I think I would do, and I can't remember if I shared this detail, and if I did share it, nobody really thought about it. But this is just after a class at the gym. And just after a class at the gym, the locker room is packed with a lot of ladies and a whole lot of fannies. So the fact that she could have smacked any random stranger's ass, that she didn't pay a little bit more attention to make sure it was her friend's ass, because I don't know that I would recognize your ass, Bree, in a sea of fannies, which makes me a little...
What?
I know, that makes me a little sad now that I think of it.
It makes me sad, too.
But that would have kept me from initiating the smack. So many fannies. I know you'd recognize mine because it has a dent in it because of your stairs at your house.
I would recognize your ass. I'm still stuck on how you wouldn't recognize mine. I have a great ass, Mindy, and I'm really disappointed that you wouldn't.
You do, but I've never
it.
seen, like, the center of it. I've only seen the part that comes out of a bathing suit. All right, I'm going to look next time. I'm going to study it so I'm not warned.
You can
And you know what?
smack it.
If I were Laura, I love that she ran away. I would come back and just be checking out the other girl's fanny, because if Charlie thought that was my fanny, that better be a real great fanny.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right? You thought that was my
really,
fanny?
no kidding.
I want to see that fanny.
Yeah.
Charlie says it was a great fanny, so also, ultimately, it was a compliment to her friend. When her friend's, like, straight up Nordic and has this beautiful, fabulous alabaster fanny, according to Charlie.
I love that.
So,
So, can you weasel yourself out of this one?
oh my gosh, yes, 100%. This is an easy A because I was not seen as the culprit, right? So I just yell, Dana, in a really, like, admonishing way, and then I run after the imaginary Dana who has fled the scene after the fanny smack, and then profusely apologize for Dana's behavior when I come back, and even sprinkle in that Dana thought it was my fanny, and then hope that she likes my fanny because my friend Dana thought that my fanny was her fanny. So yeah, easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other potential benefit for that approach,
For
the
Dana?
Dana approach,
For the Dana method?
yes, is that if the smacked tiny woman had seen them walking in together at any point, she might think that Dana was actually Laura,
Because she
and
doesn't
then
know Laura's
Laura
name.
would be busted. And then Laura would be called Dana by this woman at the gym for the rest of eternity. So I love that.
And maybe I'd never tell Laura why. Why does that lady always call me Dana? Shh, never mind.
It was that head smack. Things were never the same after that.
So her advice to everyone is simply look before you smack. Is it don't smack a fanny? Absolutely not. This is Charlie. Her advice is look before you smack.
Well, that makes sense.
Also, she says anything is worth a laugh. My kindred spirit.
Oh, that is your kindred spirit. In fact, the whole time I was listening to this, I kept thinking, Is this story just a Mendy story? I'm so happy there's another prankster like you out in the world.
We talked about Irish twins. We talked about Fanny twins. Now we're talking about spirit twins. I just noticed that.
So how would you rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of awkwardness, Mendy?
Gosh, okay. So I'm thinking of not knowing that this stranger was okay, thinking I'd smacked a Fanny, thought it was my friend, thought it was funny. It's one thing if it wasn't your friend's Fanny. That's huge. That's huge. But then she thought she had concussed this stranger, altered the course of this woman's life, right? So I'm like 15. 15. Terrifying.
On a scale of 1 to 10, you are 15.
10. Yes, 15. What about you?
All right. I would give it a 3.5.
You don't even look at fannies, Bree. And if you smacked someone's fanny and it wasn't your friend, and B, you thought you had concussed them, you're like, no big deal.
No, here's the thing. I love that she made a new connection out of this moment. I just love it. There's nothing that I love more than connections that emerge out of awkward moments. That is my favorite thing.
True.
So it turns it into a 3.5.
I'm only looking at the moment, but you know what informs me as well? Being a prankster and a willy-nilly silly person, I know that feeling of when you accidentally mess up. You think you're doing something that's really funny, but you really just hurt somebody's feelings or make them feel bad. It is a really, really bad feeling. So I just imagine how Charlie was like riding high, riding high, riding high. And in that moment, she sees that woman convulsing on the ground. Just, ouch, man. Just,
But it was like in a movie when you have like the scare moment, but it's actually a comedy. So you get a little shocked, but then you start laughing. I mean, it seems like it was pretty short. So if I'm looking at this whole scope of this situation, and that moment of fear was so short-lived that it still gets to a 3.5 for me. I think we're going to have to agree to disagree.
I think we do.
Mendy.
I just think it's so extreme. So if you think of accidentally going to the bathroom in your pants, I wonder if that would be higher for you. Would that be higher?
Yes. Yes.
So you care more about people seeing you wet your pants than accidentally possibly putting someone in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Yes, actually, yes.
Of course not. I don't want to hurt anybody, but I know I have the gift of hindsight in the telling of this.
Oh, no pun
story,
intended.
Right? I'm still going to give it a 3.5. I stick to my analysis of this.
We're all going to disagree on how awkward something is, right?
Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
You know what I really want, though, Mendy? I want people to send us their awkward stories.
I do too. I want more. This is so much fun. I learned new methods of finding friends. Like, I'm just going to go fanny smack it in the locker room as soon as we get off the air.
Yeah, it is so much fun to be on the side of the person who is awkward. That's the thing. I just identify with each of you so much, or I'm completely inspired by you. Thank you, Charlotte. And so send us your stories. You can check the show notes for where to send them. We'd love to get them. You can either write them out, or you can leave them in a voice memo. We will use them.
Yes, please send those along.
And they make everyone feel a little bit less alone.
Bree, I think it's time for a song for Charlie.
Oh, because we are some great ditty twisters.
The original OG, Bree.
Pranks are so hilarious.
Until a stranger gets concussed.
But Charlie, she's still quite nonplussed.
Well, that was awkward. Be careful when your back is turned.
You should probably be forewarned.
You might get clocked by a Capricorn. Ow.
Well, that was awkward.
This has been an Awkward Sage production.